everybody, this is Sherry with CPR, Craft, Pray, Repeat, and I've got some quick cards that I want to share. I made these to send over next door to my neighbor, and I wanted her to have something that she could, pass out to the people in her church. So this is the first two cards, and they were quite dimensional, so I just made boxes to fit them. I used the Knitwick Collections Country Meadows for all of the papers that I used, all the background papers and things like that. I'll move this one aside and I'll show you the first one. And you just open up the box, and there's the first card. And it pulls right out. Again, it's got the Country Meadows background paper. It's got a stamp that I was gifted by Lisa, who is Charlisa's Crafty Corner, and it is from Stampabilities. Let's see, it says You're in My Thoughts is the name of it. And so I used it. I made a flower and then used some stamen from Wild Orchid Crafts to go in the center. And then I just used a little bit of ribbon here to put a bow. I used Memento ink from, or I used a pink Memento ink. I can't remember what the name of it is. And just used some dies from my stash. I popped this up with some fun foam, so it's nice and sturdy. There's not any indentations or anything. And then on this one, I left the inside blank for her to write a note. And that's the first card that I made her. Just really easy and simple. And then it'll go back in the box. I do think I'm going to punch a couple little notches here on the side, just so that it's easier to get inside the box to get to your card. But I used this paper and this paper, all came from Knitwick Collections. Alright, here is my next card. Again, I used paper from Knitwick Collections. Put it in a box. I made it 1 inch in diameter, in thickness, which this one's a little puffier. I probably could have went up 1.25 inches, but I didn't want it to be a huge box. And I thought about decorating the top, but then I thought, no, leave it plain, because I want the card to kind of be the star of the show. And you just lift off the lid, and then here's the card inside this one. You just open it up and take it out. And this one again uses the same sentiments that I believe came from Michael's when they had that sale one time. I used some Wild Orchid Craft roses, some leaves from Wild Orchid Crafts. Again, it's the same background paper from, well, it's not identical. This one has a different pattern than this one. So they're very similar, but just slightly different. And so I used this for my background, and then left this one blank as well on the inside for her to write the note. I just added a little bead spray there that, oh my gosh, I'm not even sure where I got it from, because I believe it came from the Dollar Tree a long time ago. So that gives you an idea of, I don't even think they carry this stuff anymore. I've probably had them 5 years or so. And I think I have one more left, which is really going to bum me, because I do like to put them in when I use floral spray, or when I use my flowers, which I haven't done in forever. But this was a lot of fun to pull them out and just make small clusters in the corners for the, the fronts of the cards. But it does make it extremely dimensional. And like I said, I made the box 1 inch in thickness. But on this one, this corner pops up slightly. This goes all the way down. This one pops up just a little bit. So I probably should have went up a tiny bit. on this one, but that's what it looks like. It fits right inside the box. And there's my second card, and I will be back in 1 minute with my next. Alright, here is my third card. I used this stamp set right here from Birch Press Studios, and it is called Dragonfly Greetings, and this was gifted to me by Rebecca, who is I Am Mama 24. I used it for the card. I used my black glaze pen for the little stamen that are here in the center of the largest flower. I just made a mask for this one because it was separate, and then stamped these behind it. I used the RV, quadruple 0, triple 0, double 0, and 02 for the flowers here for the pink, and then for the leaves and the stems I use G20, 43, and 24. I use my Memento Tuxedo black ink to stamp the images, and then I used my VersaFine Onyx black, and I'll share that for you in the center. This was from, or on the inside of the card, this is from the Sentiment set. And then on the inside of the card, it says, here for you always. And then on the inside, it says, give your burdens to the Lord. He will carry them. And that's this stamp here that I got from Lisa, again, who is Charlisa's Crafty Corner. Now, this one doesn't have anything on it on the sides, but she sent it to me the same time she sent me this one. So I think they were from Michael's. But again, it says, give your burdens to the Lord, He will carry them, Psalms 55:22. And then that's on the front, you know, it says, here for you always. And that's, God's here for you always, because I'm just human. I'm going to fail you. I'm not going to lie to you. But God ain't never going to let you down. So that's why I put that on the inside, because, you know, I'm only human. I make mistakes. But God's there 100% of the time, ladies and gentlemen. He ain't never going to let us down. And I just used a Recollections 110-pound cardstock for the card base. And then I used another pink Memento ink. And I really wish I had written it down, but I can't remember. I will try to put the name of it on the screen just in case you're interested. And I used the same flower cluster here, and then one of the little dragonflies to go on the envelope, so that it just all coordinated. I wanted it to look really cute. I don't usually decorate the envelopes, but for some reason I was feeling froggy that day and decided to go for it. And excuse me. But I absolutely love how it turned out. And I think that she will like that it has something on the outside, because that's just not something you typically see. So this is my third card, and I will be back with one more in just a moment. Alright, I am back with my last card. And this is a stamp set from Technique Tuesday called Ritzy Mum. It's one of my absolute favorite stamp sets. I love watercoloring. I'm just not very secure in my ability to watercolor. But this is one image that I've colored on several occasions, and every time I've loved how it's turned out. Absolutely loved how it's turned out. And so I used my Kuretake Gansai Tambi watercolors for the flowers. I used a die that I have in my stash, and I believe it is it's an MFT, Peaceful Sayings. That's what it's called. It's from My Favorite Things. It's Peaceful Sayings. It says have faith, and I believe the other one that came in it says praying for you. But I chose to do have faith, and I just used a cardstock from my stash that matched. I left it blank on the inside. Now, I did have it attached to a board, but I also used my heat gun to heat it, because that's one of my problems with watercolor, is that I'm very impatient. So I made sure that I backed this with tons of double-sided adhesive, so it really, you know, straightened it right out. It didn't warp bad because, like I said, I had it attached to a board, but it did warp a little. And so I just made sure that I put a lot of adhesive. I used this right here for my back so that, you know, it's pretty much completely covered, and held it right down. And then I used my Knitwick Collections again, and the same Country Meadows that I used in the last card, or the last couple cards, I used to make an A2 size envelope for it. And I love that it matches. I just think it looks really cute together. And so I used it for my envelope so that, you know, I didn't stamp on this one. I mean, I could have stamped the flowers on the front. It would have really looked pretty. I think it would have, the yellow would have kind of filled in the collared space. So it would have looked pretty with it stamped, but I just left it plain with just the color and was really happy with it. And I'll be right back and show you everything in just 1 second. Alright everybody, I'm back, and these are the 4 cards that I made. The boxes that I made them to go in, and then the one that I stamped with the image on the front, and then my watercolor card, using my alcohol markers, which ain't that awful. I can't even think of the name of my markers. Copic. Sorry. My Copic markers, my watercolor card, and then just using the flowers, flowers that I made, a flower that I made, as well as a flower from Wild Orchid Crafts that are mulberry, which I love their flowers. So this is it, guys. I hope that you like them. If you do, you know, give this video a thumbs up. Please leave in the comments which one's your favorite, because I'm really curious as to whether you like the ones where I use the dyes, or you like the ones where I use my Copics or the watercolor. Let me know which is your favorite, please. I would appreciate that. If you like the video, again, like I said, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate that. Remember to practice your CPR, craft, pray, repeat. Thanks for visiting me today, and happy crafting. Love you all. Bye.